guys, it's JuV Day 19, and I couldn't think of a good video idea, so I mentioned it to my girlfriend, and she was like, I've got one for you. And so I'm going to talk about stuff that I'm fancying doing a reconsume of. Books, films, TV shows, etc., that sort of thing, where I'd like to do a rewatch or reread or re-listen or whatever. One of the first things that I'd like to say about is XMen Evolution. I say about this a lot recently. Maybe you've not heard me talk about it in videos, but I've talked about it a bunch in person. So if you know me, you might have heard me go on about this before. XMen Evolution, it was a really good reimagining of the X-Men for the early 2000s. It's very early 2000s, late 90s style stuff, but it's genuinely one of the best reimaginings of the X-Men, quite frankly. And that's coming from a pretty big X-Men fan. The whole idea is that the X-Men are a bunch of high school students. It's great. The only ones who are adults are Professor X, because it wouldn't make sense otherwise, Wolverine, because they wanted to keep him relatively similar to the comics, and Storm. Oh, and Beast later on, but that's another thing. I am going to do a rewatch of this show because I've just learned that it's all on Prime in the UK, so I'm gonna rewatch it at some point soon. All of it is free on Prime, so since I have Prime, because I'm a student, I'm going to rewatch it because it's one of the definitive versions of the X-Men for me. It was really good because, for one, Wolverine, because it would have been creepy for Wolverine to be constantly macking on Jean Grey because he's an adult and she's a teenager. That relationship doesn't have to be the way it is in the comics, where you end up with him being weird all the time, and the weird love triangle between her, Scott, and Logan it's just not there in X-Men Evolution. It's great. Another thing that I'm going to do a reread of is the Percy Jackson books, because it's been so long since I reread them, and at some point I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a reread, and it's gonna be great because it's been so long. It's been so long, and they held up last time I reread them. They held up pretty well. I think they'll still hold up pretty well now, but we'll see when I get to them. And they're so good, and yeah, it's just good. The next thing that I want to say about is a lot older than either of those. It's the Digimon Adventure original series, which I've not been able to find a way of re-watching yet, but and I know that it's going to be really dated, but it's a thing that I would like to do a rewatch of at some point. Tamers is the third season. That's the other one I'd kind of like to do a rewatch of, but the original Digimon is the thing that I'm thinking I would like to do a rewatch of most at some point. Now the next two are kind of bundled together, so I'll just discuss them at the same time, which are Community and Scrubs, because I keep seeing clips on YouTube because I keep finding them and I'm gonna do a rewatch of them at some point, but it's not right now. They are good. I am wanting to go back and rewatch them, and this is partly because I keep coming up along the clips, but I also keep listening to the Scrubs Rewatch podcast that Donald Faison and Zach Braff are doing, and I've just started listening to Darkest Timeline, which is Ken Jeong and Joel McHale's other podcast that's not really a rewatch podcast as it turns out, but it's community related, and yeah, I'd kind of like to do a rewatch of both of them. We'll see how I get on with that. The next thing that I'm going to do a rewatch of is Red Dwarf. Now, this one's coming at a different angle because me and my girlfriend want to get caught back up on Red Dwarf. But we're also wanting to just go back and start it again from the beginning, rewatch it from the very start, and we've got access to, I think, all of it, so might as well, eh? It's another one that's been a long time, and also it's definitely not going to have aged as well as I think it will have, but Oh, we'll see. And the last one of these things that I want to re-engage with is the Discworld. I've got access to all or most of the audiobooks now, but I haven't listened or read anything to do with Discworld in, I want to say 5 years, possibly more. And it's been a long time, and I want to re-engage. It was so good, and yeah, it's been a long time, so I'm going to do that. Those are what I've been thinking of re-watching and rereading, etc., in the last little while. If you let me know what you're fancying re-engaging with media-wise in the comments down below, I would love to know, because I think it's interesting to sort of see how that carries. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you remember to like and share it and subscribe to my channel. Click on the thumbnails down below to see other videos by me, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the next day of JuV. Bye!